Welcome everyone to the Inspired Choices Network TV show. I am your host, Christine McIver. We have a fabulous guest today. She is not physically in studio, but she's going to be joining me via Skype. I have Megan Sillito with me. Megan is an international facilitator of world changers, magicians, and creators. Today we're going to be talking with Megan about money and consciousness. And before we bring Megan on, I'd like to tell you a little bit about her. For over 20 years, Megan has masterfully facilitated deep transformation in individuals and groups from all walks of life, from entrepreneurs to artists and housewives to NASA engineers. Like a court gesture, she has creatively led thousands to reach beyond their limiting beliefs of what is possible to claim they're having it all. Ridiculous life. She is an international speaker and a group facilitator. People coming towards Megan's events often say they are having so much that they didn't realize that their whole life had changed. You can connect with Megan at megansillito.com. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. And this is a conversation I love having with you about money and consciousness. So let's start first with, let's do a little bit of background. Where did you begin your life, Megan?
Where did I begin? I began my life as a poor white child. Just kidding. I was born in Salt Lake City, and while my father was going through his doctorate degree, and when I was like 2 weeks old, we went back across the border to Canada, which is where my family is from. And I was raised in Canada. And then when I was about 15, I came back down to Salt Lake City, and this is where I've been since.
You've been in Salt Lake City. That's very cool. So Megan, tell us about your journey to the woman that you've become, the masterful facilitator that you've become. Where did you start out in your world as far as a career? Were you always doing this, or did you start somewhere completely ridiculous elsewhere?
Oh, I've always been ridiculous. I think the bottom line is like, I don't work well for others. And so I had to figure out something to create, because I just knew that working for other people wasn't really my gig somehow. And I did a lot of different things. Like I bartended, I cocktail waitress. I really only had a real job for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, where I went into an office and went into a little booth. But I think for me, seeking answers to questions, like I kind of was like, wow, if all there is to life is punching a time clock, like I'm out, like I don't want to do this. And so I just basically said, hey, universe, God, whoever's out there, like, you got to show me something different, because I'm pretty sure this isn't it. And also there was I was acting a lot of trauma and pain through my 20s, crashing cars, like really not totally on this planet, and I was sort of shown a path a couple weeks after I was like, hey, universe, and I went to rapid eye training just about a month or two after that question, and that's where it all started. I started my healing with a technology called rapid eye, which heals trauma. It's a holistic therapy that heals trauma in the body and brain. And that was it. Like I took the pill, like it was the Kool-Aid. It was like, wow, like if I could change that much in such a short amount of time, if I could drop that much trauma and heaviness and open my world that much in such a short time, what else is possible? And I just started seeking every resource that I could that would continue the progression of my life and then allow me to help others to do the same. Because I mean, I was like pretty messed up. So I figured if I could get on a track to not only help myself, but to make a difference in the world, then everybody could. And I was going to shout it from the rooftops.
That's awesome. So you went through a lot of trauma and pain growing up. It's amazing that you are the woman that you are today, because I don't see any evidence of this. Now, Megan, you may or may not know, she has a radio show on the Inspired Choices Network called Love, Life, and All Things Weird with her amazing partner in crime, Suzanne Stoffer. And Megan, was the pain and the pain and the trauma that you were going through in your life before you got to the rapid eye, was that something that actually contributed to being the amazing facilitator you are today?
Totally. There's really, like, I've been through it all. I could probably do 3 Oprah shows, when she used to have weird shit on.
Yes.
Like, it was my life was so strange that even when I talk about certain things, people can't grok it. And so, there's nothing that I cannot sit with or be with. Like, whether it's something that happens in one of my events, somebody's unraveling something, or in my one-on-one sessions, there's no block. There's nothing you can tell me that would make me judge you. Like, I've done it all. I've been it all. So absolutely, that was the path that became my message.
Wow. So let's talk about your events. So your events are called Live Your Magic. It sounds, I'm going to be like an outsider. It sounds really woohoo. And it sounds like it's only for those people. Can you talk to us about what that event is like?
Yeah. Well, the thing is I think everybody is a version of those people. They just don't know it yet. And so many of us are trying to hold it together to try to be normal and average. And that's why there's such a thing as those people, because those people who are, trying to hold it all together, they kind of have to say those people over there because they're afraid they're one. And they actually are. And so, one of the things that I have seen, that I don't care like who someone is or where they come from or where they've been, they have some kind of magic in them. They have some kind of genius or gifts or capacities that if they would allow it to come through, would open the places and spaces in their life that they can't imagine. But so many people are so afraid to be weird or that magic isn't real. And I really believe in magic in all of its forms, but the event is truly about opening up the personal magic, the genius in a person. And what I have found is that is one of the best life hacks to a different, better life, because once the genie's out of the box, or the genius is out of the box, there's no going back. Once you get a whiff of your power, it's really hard to deny it, like when you have a visceral experience of it. And that's my intent in the 3 days, is that people have an experience of their power or their gifts in such a way that they can't no longer deny it.
Right. You said they're magic in all forms. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. Well, I believe that there is, if what we can see is part of a radar screen, that we're seeing about 1 cubic inch of a million square foot screen. Like, what we see is so minuscule to what we can't see. And what we can't see, like just coming from science, is all of the energy molecules and atoms that are around us all the time. And that every atom, every molecule is filled with intelligence. Science tells us that. This is not woo-woo. So there is this palpable energy that is all around us, that there are possibilities that are in that intelligence of the molecules that we have not birthed yet. And so to me, there's magic everywhere and in everything, in the trees, in the grass, in just the air that's around us right now. I mean, how magic is it that you and I can be 4,000 miles away and talking to each other right now? Like, we think about well, that's technology, but think, like, how the hell does that really happen, right? How does a 100-ton airplane get off the ground, really, with the law of gravity in force?
Yes.
And so what happened was somebody discovered the law of lift. Isn't that magic? that the law of lift actually is a stronger law than the law of gravity. And that's the thing that if you explore consciousness, you continue to find things that will supersede what you've known before. And that's such a fun game to me. That's magic, because it's like we're always discovering things we never knew before. Well, wouldn't that also be true in our own lives?
Right.
If that's happening in science, if that's happening all around us, isn't there something available to us, to you, that possibly you don't know yet, that if you uncovered it would change the trajectory of everything?
That is a big question. I love it. That is fabulous. So, Megan, we're going to take a short break. And when we get back, I really want to dive into the money and consciousness. And thank you for setting the stage on everything that you've been doing and where you've come from. That really helps to lean us into this next piece of our conversation. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back with Facilitator of Magic, Megan Sillito. Have you thought about bringing your voice to the world? Are you looking to have a global platform that you can connect with? At Inspired Choices Network, we create an opportunity for you to bring your voice each and every week to a global platform. We support you, we train you, we bring your podcast out to more than 50 platforms. We are a network of building a community where we're bringing conscious voices to the world. If you're looking to have more of an opportunity, if you're looking to bring what you know to the world, do connect with us. You can contact us at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, or you can send an email to becomingahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. We'll have a conversation and we'll show you what truly is possible. Welcome back, everyone, to the conversation with Megan Sillito. Today we're talking about money and consciousness. So right before the break, Megan, you laid out your whole story and brought us right up to your event, Live Your Magic, and really talking about magic. And I love that explanation of it. It's both logical and it's actually, it has a magical energy to it just in and of itself. So let's talk about now money and consciousness. How do you see money and consciousness? Where are we today, and where is the magic for us in the future?
Well, just let me put it really simply. Can you help more people with money or without money?
Way more with money.
Right. And for some reason, well, I kind of know the reason, like organized religion and the powers that be, the political power, they wanted to have the power. And for them, whoever had the money had the power. And so they created messages like, it's better to be poor. It's better to be spiritual than have money. You know, they created all of these kinds of messages that got kind of pushed into our culture. So there's all of these people that I have found that are on a spiritual path, that are on a conscious path of one form or another, but they won't allow themselves to choose to be wealthy because they see it as a sin, or they see it as less than. It's better to be really poor and not charge people and be like Jesus. And like I hear a lot of those kinds of things. But if you have these gifts to give the world and you don't have money to pay your rent, then what are you focused on?
You're focused on trying to pay your rent and you're not looking at being a contribution to other people, for sure.
Yes, exactly. And so in my interesting point of view is that money desires to be part of the change that we're all asking for on the planet and on the earth. And in order to do that, it must be received by those with a conscious path. Like, I think also a lot of people that I talk to, the people in their lives that have had money have used money over them. They've used money to punish. They've used money in negative ways. And so people have made it up that money is bad or money is evil, but actually those people were just stupid that did that, right? It's like, yes. Money's totally neutral. It's like, it it is activated by whose hands it is in.
Right.
And it magnifies who one is, because it's just an energy. So if I'm a philanthropist, how much more of a philanthropist will I be with $10 million than with 10?
Right.
Right. And if I'm an a-hole, and I get more money, then I'll be a bigger a-hole. That's kind of how it goes. And so it's really the spiritual people, the people who are on the conscious path, if they're denying and pushing away money, consciously or unconscious,
Yes.
then the money doesn't have a point of view, so it'll go to the a-holes. So the more a-holes that have the money, the less money can contribute to the change on the planet. And so my flag right now is like, hey, like spiritual people, conscious people, like wake up. Here's the flag, like, like choose to be wealthy, because that is part of well-being. Wealth, actually, the root is well-being. And
wealth comes from well-being?
Yes.
That's very cool. So do you believe that there are people out there that are still desiring money, and yet they have a belief that money is like, that old saying, the root of all evil? Is that still very prominent?
More than you would think. The thing about it is, it's tricky because most people have really suppressed that idea. So they're not aware that that's actually what's running them. But if you listen to them talk about people with money,
yes,
you can hear it. You can hear that, like, oh, that person, da-da-da, who do they think they are, blah, 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 with all their fancy this and fancy that. It's like their words are giving away that they essentially look at people with money as bad or less than, or,
So if it shows up as jealousy or resentment or hostility towards someone, it's not really about that someone, it's about themselves?
Yes. Like, not always in that kind of a direct manner, but it's like, what I see is that they're afraid if they had money, they would be that too. So
okay. I think that's a huge piece right there. Mm-hmm. That they're looking at what someone else is doing and they're saying, I don't want to be that person. So subconsciously they're pushing it away.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But if you look around, you can find people that are amazing and happy and loving that also have money. And that's true wealth. Like, I don't feel like money is the measure of wealth. It's part of wealth, but it's not the whole measure of wealth. And so I know people that have a lot of money that aren't wealthy. They're always afraid of losing it. They're guarding it. They don't trust anybody. Everybody wants me for my money or whatever. And I don't see that as wealthy. Just because you have a few million in the bank doesn't mean that's wealth. I feel like, and I go back to the original definition of wealth, which is well-being. Like, do you have well-being in your relationships? Do you have well-being in your bank account? Do you have well-being in your business? To me, that's what true wealth is. And it includes money. Whereas it's so funny when I do something online or do a class on money or abundance or whatever, there's always someone in the group. It's like, well, it's not just about money. And I'm like, no, it's not, but it includes money. Money's just one. It's like, and in that person's actually making money way too significant. So I think the obsession with money could be the root of all evil. But what I notice is that people who have money don't obsess about it.
Say more about that.
Well, the people that I have met that are truly wealthy, they don't even think about it. They're just creating their life. They're just creating their vision. And money's just part of it. It's not even, if there's something to talk about with regards to money, it's just like, and the sky's blue. It's not significant to them. And the people that don't have money are generally obsessed with it, or they feel like there's lack. They're mad at people who have money, and they're mad that they can't pay their rent, and they're mad at people who charge money for their services. And like, those people are way more obsessed about money than people who actually truly have wealth.
Right. What do you think about, Megan, people that, and I'm going to, again, the conscious people, people that are doing, spiritual healing of some sort? What do you think about it when you hear them say, everybody deserves this, so that's why I charge the price I charge? Or I give a big discount if people don't have the money. What do you think about that when you hear that?
Well, I've done that. Full disclosure. And here's the thing is that I'm not sort of a black and white person. I don't see it in just one way. What I strive to do is to create offerings and services that are free or that anybody can afford, so that it gives everybody access. I really believe that the tools and principles that make our life better and more fulfilling should be available to all. So that's the first thing that I want to say. But at some point, if I don't allow my work to be a successful business, then I'm not channeling the money that could allow me the visibility to bring my message out to more people. And so at some point I have to look and say, okay, what is it that requires a financial exchange? And what is it that requires higher levels of financial exchange based on the energy output that I put into it? And so I have programs and services at all kinds of price points, including free, like the Inspired Choices Network. That is a labor of love. Like, I pay a fee to be on the network. I invest to give as many people as possible free, juicy, like you've heard my radio show. I don't hold back. I'm not, oh, well, I'm only going to give this on the free show and whatever.
Right.
But if you come and have a personal experience with me, and I'm taking my time to do that, then there's going to be a financial exchange, and I'm going to give my all there too.
Right.
And that's how I see it. That's how I look at it.
I really like that, Megan. I really like that explanation of what you're choosing on the financial exchange. And the financial exchange is not necessarily physical cash. There is an exchange that's going on between you and that other individual. That changes it big time. The pity party that I often hear conscious people doing towards other people, I think it's a disservice. And yes, I'm sure that we've all been there and done that, but I do think that it's time for a change. So Megan, we've just got a couple of minutes left. Tell us what we can do to start to change that in our own lives.
The biggest thing that I would say to do is make friends with the money. There's so many different energies on our planets, right? There's nature, there's rocks, there's flowers, there's cats, there's dogs, there's humans, and all kind of different frequencies. But how familiar are you with the frequency of money, with how it feels, like how it dances, that can dance with us, and like have a conversation with it, ask it how it would like to serve through you. That's one of my favorite questions right now with money is, who would you like to serve through me? What would you like to create through me? Because it is a consciousness. It is an energy, just like everything. And if you take all the significance off of it, then it can actually do its job and create more and support you in that, because so many people make choices because they need money or for money, but money should never be the leader. You're the leader of your life. So you look around and you go, what do I really want? What do I want to be? What do I want to create? What's my vision? And if you commit to that, money will come and play, because it loves to be part of changing the world. It loves to be part of something greater. So if you actually are willing to make friends with it and put your purpose first, it will come for the ride. But you've got to mend the rift that you have with money. You've got to look at how you're keeping it out, just like any relationship, right? What kind of projections have you put on money that's keeping it out? And like, clear that stuff up. Have a clearing conversation.
That's fantastic.
Call me up and I will facilitate a clearing conversation with you and money,
That's
and allow
awesome.
it to participate in your life and in your creations.
That's fabulous. Megan, you have a program going on right now. Can you tell us about that program?
Yes, I am so excited about this program. It's called Imprinting for Riches. And for me, what I'm also aware of, that some of us in consciousness are like, I don't see money as evil. I know it can help me create greater, and I don't seem to be able to be in flow with it. And my awareness is that it's because we are not imprinted it for that. Like, we grew up in families that didn't have money, or were struggling, or we are part of a community that struggles with money. And so we haven't been exposed. We will make within $5,000 of our five closest friends generally. And so how do you get access to the people who have that consciousness with money that you'd like to learn about? I was lucky enough when I started my practice to have a really good friend that was raised by a very successful multi-million-dollar entrepreneur. And she's just always known money would flow to her. And people that have been raised with money tend to have that, even if they have to undo something twisty-loo about it,
Right.
And so I'm bringing on people in this program. This is like the 22-day dive. I'm bringing the consciousness of money in every day. I'm facilitating, and I'm bringing wealth-minded people on so that you can hang with people like millionaire philanthropists and things like that, so you can start feeling into their consciousness around money. It's like we have to kind of train ourselves to be in the consciousness of money, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. And so it's really my goal in this is to have hundreds of spiritual conscious people aligning with the consciousness of money, making friends with money, and having money be really just like gravy. It's like, oh, isn't that cool? $5,000 came in today. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And just to have it be not so significant.
Right.
It's almost like we have to bring our energy and attention to it to lose the significance of it, so that actually it can flow freely into our
Sounds like an amazing program. You can absolutely check out Megan at megansillito.com, where you'll see everything that she creates all over the world. Megan is a global change maker, and this program will definitely be one of her, I'm sure, signature programs for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Megan, so much for being with us today. I adore you, and I'm so grateful we were able to connect and share more of what you're doing in the world.
Thank you so much. I love talking about this stuff. So thank you so much for giving me another platform to talk more.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Megan. Be sure to come back next week, where we'll have another inspiring guest who's changing things in the world. Until then, my friends, remember, you can always make another choice.